you look at the approach of Stein and pretty much every atheist, materialist, empiricist, about 95% of them, this is in fact the key point that comes up with Matt Dillahunty in the debate I had with him, is that they assume that all questions are solved in the same way. So the same way that I will be convinced of the existence of God is the same way that I would go to the pantry to see if there's crackers there. Are there crackers in the pantry? Well, let's just go look. And if we see them and we get the sense data, we can then confirm or deny the existence of the crackers in the pantry. Now, I make the same point over and over and over, and I talk about, is it Lil Wayne or is it Bill Cosby that has moved next door to me? And I have to go and actually find out and see, right? That's a different type of question, and it's solved and known in a different way than other types of things that we believe and use and argue for. This should be common sense. It should be obvious, right? And Bahnsen just gave you a list of things that are proven in different ways, different types of things. Is the way that we prove or discuss or talk about morals, obligations, duties, ethics, beauty, aesthetics, the way things are proven in a case of a court of law? Is it always just a listing of the facts? No, there's more nuance. There's a lot more that goes into it. Logical laws, mathematics, concepts. And so what this does is from the outset, it sets the limits on what kinds of evidence will be accepted and therefore determines metaphysically what things exist. So basically what you're saying is I'm only going to accept empirical physical evidence for anything. And therefore, you're determining that only empirical physical objects exist. But if the type of thing that we're arguing for isn't physical, if it's not extended in time and space, if it's invariant, conceptual, logical, etc., then you've already established a limitation. You've set the bar from the outset to determine the types of things that you will allow to exist. I'm only going to accept evidence for physical things. In other words. But then that same guy will admit and allow all different types of things to exist and be argued for and be analyzed in a host of different ways. Different types of things are proven in different ways. And so if we come to the table and we're arguing for an invariant, immaterial, spiritual entity, God, a being like that, then it stands to reason that the way that we're going to argue for him is different than the way that we're going to argue for physical things. And when the atheist says, well, then I'm not going to accept any arguments unless they're physical, he's setting the bar and determining what metaphysics can and can't be from the outset when that's the very thing that's in question. And and if he doesn't want to do that, if he doesn't accept, he says, I don't accept anything immaterial, invariant, and conceptual. Then you're assuming that all things are proven in the exact same way, and we can prove all kinds of things that you yourself hold to that are not proven in the same way. When you go to investigate the past, do you just look and see in a cupboard the past existed? No. When you analyze obligations or ethics, you just look in a pantry under a microscope? No. So this is a really stupid fundamental philosophical blunder. And almost every atheist materialist makes this same basic mistake of acting like every single thing is argued for and proven in the same way. So Bahnsen kind of jokingly calls it the crackers in the pantry fallacy because technically it's not a fallacy in some objective list of fallacies. It's a kind of fallacy that Bahnsen is making up, you could say, but it's accurate because he's pointing out that most of the atheist materialists will assume that everything is proven in the same way. And if you recall from the Dillahunty debate, one reason that he thought this, and he didn't think that there was any way to prove transcendentals, is because he assumed that everything is proven in the same way, and a transcendental or presupposition is just something you assume. No. It's an argument. That's what he doesn't get, and that's what he never got. And that's why they don't get the transcendental argument, because they don't understand that there's different types of argumentation.